Border security usually involves stopping the influx of people and drugs entering illegally, but something much smaller also lurks along the border.
Ticks pose a grave danger to the country's food supply. Luckily, there's a cowboy on the tick trail. Eyewitness News border reporter Oscar Margain explains.
For decades, the U.S. government has poured out billions of dollars to help secure the southern border from smugglers and immigrants looking to cross it illegally. However, little public attention is placed on other potential threats that also cost money and take up resources to keep at bay. I'm talking about cows. More specifically, a pest that cows and other livestock may be carrying, the mighty tick. Enter the cowboys. Jorge Solis and his inspectors, Rene Munoz and Carlos Salinas, are part of the USDA's Tick Riders, a force tasked with rounding up stray cattle that's crossed the border from Mexico, where cattle is commonly infested with ticks.
These are two Mexico calves. We're gonna do what we call a scratch inspection.
It's not a back scratch,
Really will. I got one right here.
but a search for these disease-carrying ticks that may cause the deadly cattle fever.
This is the tick we're looking for. This is a microplus tick, and it's still alive.
Clamped onto the animal's hair and skin, ticks can be so small they're overlooked. And when that happens, the cows are treated to a special bath. They jump into a pool of insecticide to get rid of the ticks, a process that's repeated at least twice before they're released from quarantine and returned to their rightful owner. In this case, a Mexican rancher.
These are premises that have been exposed by Mexico cattle.
In 2017, Texas saw one of the worst infestations since the 1970s. About 1,600 acres in Solis's jurisdiction had to be quarantined. It prompted the state to allocate a total of $12 million to aid the USDA in the fight against cattle fever tick.
The further they roam, the more area that you have to quarantine. They need people like us on the front line.
If the Rio Grande River serves as a barrier between Mexico and the U.S., then how is it that cattle can make it across? Well, depending on water levels, the river can get quite shallow, and it is then that tick riders need to keep an eye not only on cattle carrying tick, but also smugglers trying to make it across.
The threat is there, you know. Smugglers, snakes, spiders. You never know what you're gonna run into.
Tick riders must carry a gun and wear a bulletproof vest when patrolling along the river. Munoz oversees a 20-mile stretch. He picked up on a trail that led him to the Mexican cattle they now have in custody.
The river was so low at that point where maybe about this deep, they were going and coming.
USDA keeps a permanent quarantine along the entire southern border. Affected areas are treated for 9 months before they can be deemed safe. Tracking every livestock that finds its way here can be a daunting task, one that Munoz welcomes.
Just an adrenaline rush. You get to play cowboy and get paid for it.
Nature will continue to defy human laws. These tick riders are reminded of that every day.
As long as there's cattle across the river or horses, you know, we'll continue to have this problem.
In Rio Grande City on the Texas-Mexico border, I'm Oscar Margain reporting.
You know, I've never heard that term before, tick rider.
Tick rider.
Yes, on the border, but the little bitty bug can be a big problem.
It can.
Oh, yeah.
So
Can,
good thing.
nasty.
Yeah.
Nothing
So
like
nasty.
Roosevelt's Rough Riders.
Right.
Come on.
That's right. Whole
Right?
different
Whole
different
different
chapter.
ball of wax.